Today we are going to study the regional security conflict theory. The theory was developed by Barry Buzan and Ole Weaver, so the regional security conflict theory is attributed to the Copenhagen School of International Security Studies. The regional security conflict theory focuses on the regional level of analysis. So it focuses on security at that particular level. The regional level of analysis mediates between the international and domestic levels of analysis. You may recall that in their attempt to deepen the concept of security after the end of the Cold War, the Copenhagen School of International Security Studies developed developed the regional or added the regional level to the existing three levels of analysis. Back to the theory itself, regional security conflict theory was first developed by Barry Buzan in his famous book issued in 1991, People, States, and Fear. Later on, it was modified by him and his colleague at the Copenhagen School, Oli Weaver, by adding the securitization model to the theory. And as a matter of fact, the modified regional security complex is defined through a securitization model now. This lecture is structured into the following parts. In the first part of lecture, we are going to discuss levels of analysis in international relations. Dennis Waltz introduced three levels of analysis to international relations in 1969, including the international level, the state or domestic level, and the individual. Barry Buzan and his colleagues with the Copenhagen School of International Security Studies introduced a fourth level of analysis, which is the region. Here, regions for the first time appear as a semi-system or a separate unit of analysis, or using our own terms in studying security, referent as regions between referent objects. The second issue to be discussed in this class would be the definition of regional security conflicts and the main variables and indicators included in a regional security conflicts. The four indicators or variables: geography or geographical proximity, anarchic system, power polarity, and security interdependence. But because security interdependence is the crucial element in defining the formation of a regional security complex, we will set a separate discussion uh, for it. Security interdependence refers simply to security interactions between member states of a region, member states of a regional security complex, right? These interactions may take one of two forms, or both, friendship or enmity, hostility or enmity. This would affect the formation of regional security complex as we explained. Then I will give you some examples of regional security complexes. I would like to refer to the Middle East, the European Union, and in your video, you've got a third example, the South Asia regional security complex. But what we are going to set a separate discussion of the Middle East as a regional security complex, and I want to demonstrate how how to apply the four indicators of a regional security complex to the Middle East, including geographical proximity, energetic system, power polarity, and security intelligence. The last issue to be discussed in this class is the case of insulator states, those states who don't belong to any regional security complex, and how insulator states are different from buffer states. So, what a regional security complex? According to Buzan and Weber, a regional security complex refers to a set of units or a group of states. These states belong to a specific region in the world, so they share something in common, which is geographical proximity. But most important, these states experience processes of securitization, desecuritization, or both. But these processes of securitization and desecuritization are interlinked. This means that the security problem or security issues in within that group of states cannot be analyzed or resolved from one another. This is what Buzan and Weber call security interdependence. So now this we've got a group of states who have some security problems, but in order to handle these security problems, these states must work together in handling these problems. Later on, or according to four variables, I'll explain them in a minute. Barry Buzan and Weber divided the world into 9 different regional security companies, and each has its exclusive members because states don't exist in two regional security complexes or overlap from one to another. For example, they refer to the Middle East as a regional security complex, the West Europe as another regional security complex, South Asia as a regional security complex. But here you have to pay attention to the fact that one state cannot exist in two regional security conflicts or cannot overlap from a regional security complex to another. Based on the previous definition, a regional security complex includes four variables or four indicators, including geography or geographical proximity, the anarchic system, power polarity, and security interdependence. With regarding to geography or geographical proximity, a regional security complex refers to a group of states belong to a geographical region. So geographical proximity is a necessary but not sufficient conditions for forming a regional security complex. The second indicator or variable in the theory of regional security complex is that the anarchic system. So, like the international system, like the regional system, anarchy is the rule. So, it means there is no final or central power or government that puts rules and enforce rules on states within the region, right? The third indicator, which is power polarity, refers to how many major states or major power that exert power in the region. Here, Hussein and Weber borrowed the idea of power polarity from new realism and adopted it to the regional level. So here within region or within a region or within regional security complex, we can talk about bipolar regional system or unipolar regional system or multipolar regional system. The fourth variable or indicators of a regional security complex is security interdependence. Security interdependence refers to patterns of interactions among units. These interactions could uh, refer to uh, enmity or enmity. So they may refer or they may include friendship or hostility, right? This is what they meant by enmity and enmity. Among the four variables that define a regional security complex, security interdependence is crucial in defining and forming regional security complex. Why? Because you remember uh, Buzan and Weber defined regional security conflict through the processes of securitization and desecuritization. And the processes of securitization or desecuritization need securitizing actors, which are here in our level of analysis, the regional level of analysis, are states who belong to the region, right? So uh, uh, these processes of securitization and desecuritization creates interdependence, security interdependence between states. This security interdependence between states is taking the form of patterns of friendship or enmity between states, enmity and enmity between states. So now we've got these units or these states which belong to a specific region. Now they have security interactions between each other. These security interactions may be uh, show friendship, enmity, or hostility. So enmity. Regarding to enmity, there are different types of pattern of enmity, ranging from allies and friendship to protection and support. With regard to uh, the pattern of enmity, they also resulted from fear and suspicion among securitization actors and are ranging from, just from hostile statements and tensions all the way to declaring a total war. Patterns of enmity and enmity play, therefore, a significant role in defining a security complex. So, in a regional security complex where pattern of enmity or friendship prevail, so we can call this regional security complex as a security community. In contrast, when the pattern of enmity prevails in a specific regional security conflict, so this will end up being a conflict formation. As a matter of fact, Suzanne and Weber compared between, in this respect, they compared between the EU as a regional security complex and the Middle East as a regional security complex. And they concluded that, the pattern of enmity prevails in the Middle East. So uh, 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 it is an example of a conflict formation. Uh, in contrast, pattern of enmity prevails in the European Union, so we've got a security community in the European Union regional security complex. So now, what are the factors that contribute to the construction of patterns of enmity and enmity? I mean, here Buzan and Weber discussed many factors, including history, common culture, and even they examined the impact of geographical proximity uh, on conflict and cooperation between states. To wrap up here, regional security complex is defined by different patterns of security interdependence. This is, for instance, the European Union regional security complex is defined as security community since the pattern of enmity prevails in the security complex, whereas the Middle East is defined as conflict formation because pattern of enmity prevails. As I mentioned before, Buzan and Weber, depending on their definition of a regional security complex, divided the world into 9 different regional security complexes. For example, they talked about the Middle East regional security complex, the South Asian regional security complex, the EU regional security complex, the East Asia regional security complex, and so on and so forth. But they here stress uh, another or a new idea, which is yes, security threats or security concerns don't travel between regions or between regional security conflicts, since each uh, regional security conflict has its own special or distinctive security concerns and security issues. But you know what? We can have some sort of interaction between regional security conflicts. This is what Buzan and Weber called it later intra-regional conflicts. For example, in Asia, there is closer security interaction between South Asia regional security conflicts and the East Asian regional security conflicts, to such a state that Bhutan was about to say the two regional security conflicts may get merged into one in the future. Let's examine the Middle East as a regional security complex. We have here to apply the four variables or indicators of a regional security complex provided by Buzan and Weber to the Middle East. If we started by geography, so what are the units or states that belong to the Middle East? Well, in terms of geography, the Middle East, as a matter of fact, is well defined. So the Arab countries in North Africa and Asia belong to the Middle East. In addition to Iran, Pakistan, Israel, and Turkey. So there is no problem in the geographical definition of the Middle East except for a little problem. When you consider whether Turkey belongs to the Middle East security complex or not, which will be discussed in a minute. The second indicator, which is anarchic system, the Middle East, as a matter of fact, is so anarchic. But all regional security conflicts, including the European Union regional security complex, are anarchic. So what would distinguish the Middle East as a regional security complex? Well, in some regional security conflicts or in some regions, states conclude or reach some sort of security arrangement or develop joint defense structure in order to reduce the consequences of anarchic system. But in the Middle East, there is no such arrangement or joint defense structure in the region. So the Middle East regional security conflict is so anarchic. In terms of power polarity, there is difference between scholars whether the Middle East regional security conflict is a multipolar or a unipolar or a bipolar regional system. The group of scholars who say that the Middle East is a multipolar system refer to Turkey, Israel, Iran, Egypt, and Saudi Arabia as the main regional powers in the region. But some actually some exclude Egypt because they say Saudi Arabia now is risen to the status of regional power at the expense of Egypt. Some would say no, there is no Arab country included in the multipolar system of the Middle East. as the main regional powers are only Turkey, Iran, and Israel. I mean, there is difference here on assessing the regional polarity in the Middle East, but the majority of scholars would say um, it is a multipolar system, but they differ on two issues. The first, whether to include an Arab country in the main regional powers or not. The second, whether to include Egypt uh, in the regional powers or not. When it comes to security interdependence, which is the fourth and the most important variable in defining and forming a regional security complex, Hussein and Weber concluded that there is some sort of negative interdependence between actors in the Middle East, and this type of negative interdependence are is the result of many factors like ethnicity, religion, and oil reserves. In the handout, you will find out, uh, further explanation of how, for example, ethnicity contribute to the negative interdependence between the states in the Middle East, as the Middle East actually, includes many and different ethnic groups, including the Arabs, the Kurds, the Turks, the Persian, the Jews, and others, and others. Um, Also because Buzan and Weber actually studied uh, the Middle East as a case study uh, in their when they developed their theory of regional security complex, they said within the Middle East regional security complex, we've got three sub-complexes: the Levant regional security or sub-complex, the Gulf, I mean the GCC countries in addition to Iraq and Iran, and the Maghreb, Morocco, Tunisia, Algeria, in addition to Mauritania. And the last issue highlighted by Buzan and Weber in their theory of regional security complex is the case of insulator states. And insulator states isolate regions. An insulator state does not belong to any regional security complex, but separate between two different regional security complexes. Take, for example, Afghanistan. Afghanistan is separating between two distinct regional security complexes, South Asia and the Middle East. So now the security concerns prevailing either in the Middle East or in South Asia do not concern Afghanistan, because Afghanistan is not part of neither the Middle East or South Asia as a regional security complex. But an insulator state is different from a buffer state, because here a buffer state is located within a regional security complex, but it separates between two regional powers that have, some hostile interactions between them, or that have history of intensive hostile or negative interactions between them. For example, Belgium is a buffer state and always has been a buffer state between France and Germany. But at the same time, the three of them, France, Germany, and Belgium, belong to the belong to West Europe regional security complex. Now to the question of Turkey, whether Turkey belongs to the Middle East or to the European Union regional security complex. As a matter of fact, Turkey, before the coming to power of the Erdogan and his party, the Justice and Development Party in 2003, Turkey used to be an insulator state, separating two regional security complexes, the Middle East and the West Europe or the European Union regional security complex. But because of the recent development in Turkish foreign policy and now Turkish foreign policy under Erdogan actually now it becomes more involved in the Middle East affairs. Now Turkey now is fighting in Syria and is involved in the Libyan conflict and Mediterranean gas conflict, and it involved in hostile interactions with Egypt and other countries in the Middle East. So now Turkey, after the restructuring of its foreign policy under Erdogan, has become Turkey now Turkey has become part or a member of the Middle East regional security complex and not an insulator state anymore. To wrap up, the regional security complex theory focuses on the regional level of analysis. Here, regions for the first time appears as a unit of analysis in international relations and in international security studies. We can consider now regions as referent objects here. Why? Because of the magic term of securitization and desecuritization and security interdependence. It's because security interdependence means that security concerns or security threats within a specific region are the joint concern or concern all the units or all the states which belong to that region. The regional security conflict theory is obviously the most comprehensive approach in understanding security at the regional level. However, the theory was criticized particularly about its clear-cut notion of regional states. As you may remember, yes, security interdependence is crucial in defining and forming regional security complex, but Buzan and Weber divided the world into 9 distinct regional security complexes. So, and this was criticized because how come you are saying on the one hand that regional security complex is based upon the process of securitization that may differ from time to time, and of course the process of desecuritization which differs from time to time or from a period to a period, and on the other hand you are determining or you are now dividing the world into 9 different regional security complexes based upon geography or geographical proximity. In fact, the clear-cut notion of regional space in the regional security complex is not a flaw in the theory as criticized because it is based on functionality in terms of security interdependence between states. Because what we've got, these geographical proximity actually contribute to security interdependence between states which belong to the same region. Yes, security interdependence is a crucial element in defining and forming a regional security complex, but regional or geographical proximity contribute or contribute to this element of security interdependence. So it is not a flaw in the theory